everyone, PLG here, and welcome to the second part of the Otherworldly Apotheosis mod showcase, which is the mod I'm working on. So in this episode, as you may see, we'll be going over Act 2, and actually I'll just talk a bit about what I have in plans for it and actually what changed since the last episode. So the first thing is that Act 2 will not be changed as much as the other acts, because in my opinion the act itself is quite well filled with stuff already. So, and besides, I don't exactly have any idea for like new areas and stuff like that, although some new monsters may be appearing in a couple places, we'll be seeing them. And also, of course, some slightly changed palette colors for those monsters. So yeah, immediately the first thing you'll notice is that the sewers are not changed. I don't exactly have any ideas for the sewers, they're just gonna be how they were always. Also, I changed the Burning Dead into Bloody Skeletons, because there's a different monster of the exactly same type, which is, you know, the skeleton, that kind of fills the role of the burning skeleton, I'd say, and I don't know, he just looks a lot cooler. Of course, I already have some trash in my inventory, so yeah, we won't be going over the sewers, they're unchanged. But as for other areas, and you'll be seeing this from the dry hill, up from the dry hills, that something is actually changed about the areas themselves, but more on that later. So you may notice that immediately we're getting attacked by those monsters that were always appearing in the palace cellar and the harem. So yeah, I've moved them up into the desert, and of course changed them accordingly, because, you know, having a monster from the palace cellar appear in the desert would be kind of unbalanced. I've changed those guys to spawn here because, you know, they're the dune beasts, so I think a dune beast probably should appear in a dune instead of like a basement. So yeah, they kind of fit here a lot more than in some basement. So yeah, let's just go to the places. Of course, yeah, those are the same. Those are the same. Yeah, there's some random uniques. I was kind of hoping that we'd get to see some more monsters spawn right here, right now, but yeah, I guess we can just look at those dune beasts. Also, I don't know if you've noticed, but the dune beasts have some slightly changed colors that also will be visible with the other variants. So yeah, I wanted to give them a slightly different look than how they look in the usual game. Although those colors probably will be are still in the up for some changes, because, you know, I'm still learning how to exactly do them as I view them in my mind, I could say. So yeah. So let's go to the stone tomb, because I've changed it quite a bit. So, well, at least not the area, but more so the monsters that spawn here. So yeah, let's just get rid of those stupid beetles because they're irritating. And you may notice a spider type appearing here. And this spider is actually from a monster that doesn't appear in the game, and it's in the files. It's the Sandfisher. And yeah, they're quite docile, I'd say. And yeah, as you may notice, he doesn't really want to attack me, and I guess we'll just leave him be. I've added them here because they were originally supposed to spawn in Act 2, and they were cut in the end, only left in the files. So yeah, let's just give them a second chance to be in the game. Yeah, this isn't changed at all. Also, I may have accidentally changed the skeletons in this episode, at least the usual skeletons in this episode, to a wrong color palette because yeah, I've been experimenting with them once again recently. I've changed their color palettes like 3 or 4 times already, so yeah, they're kind of hard to adjust. Let's get rid of them. Also, I forgot to mention that a very funny story about those sandfishers. Back in the very early days of this mod, I was kind of intrigued by them. It was the first cat monster I decided to add into the game, and I kind of added them in every single desert that's in Act 2 and also every single tomb, and they were just literally everywhere, and they were just, you could say they were a pest everywhere, and yeah, kind of took off from their originality. Okay, yeah, I definitely messed up something with those colored color palettes. Because yeah, like in the last episode those horrors looked absolutely different, but you know, this palette isn't actually all that bad. But I've changed it to a different for some reason, so we're probably seeing some horrendous looking skeletons today. Okay, so let's go. Yeah, I guess on the first level there aren't all that many new monsters appearing, although there should have probably been one more, but yeah, I guess the RNG isn't on our side today once again. Yeah, of course, uniques. Yeah, I've also slightly increased the amount of uniques that will be spawning on like the higher difficulties, because yeah, I think there can be a bit more. Yep. And okay, so that's the usual. Okay, our first completely new enemy. Okay, our first and second completely new enemy for this act. And it's a skeleton and a... Just a second, I just need to... Of course, wonderful. It's gonna take a while to get there, so I'll just talk a bit about what I've added here. The monsters that you've seen there were the infested skeletons and the phantoms. The infested skeletons are the first of the new skeletons I've added. There's like 5 or 6 of them, and they are based around, of course, the element of poison, and they're supposed to be they're supposed to spawn later than some of the other variants of the skeletons, like the horrors, but they're supposed to be slightly weaker because yeah, they're supposed to be like the swarm type of the skeleton. That's yeah. I'm kind of having hard time right now focusing my thoughts, but yeah, you'll just see. So yeah, they're also immune to poison on Nightmare, just to spice them up a bit. And as for the phantoms, you know, let me just clean this up a bit, because yeah, it's gonna be hard talking about anything while we're being attacked by like 50 different monsters at once. Yeah, also I really like how the infested remains here, I've called them infested remains, turned out their colors are just kind of sick in my opinion. And also, second thing about them, they'll get their time to shine mostly in Act 3. So yeah, let me just stock up on the potions a bit. Yeah, I love having an extended inventory and once again filling it completely with charms. That's just the Diablo usual. Okay, so here are the phantoms, the purple wraiths, I'd say, but they're quite different. They're from a different, I could say, monster family, even though they look almost the same. Well, they're using the same graphics. You just leave one alive. So as you may notice by the description, instead of draining your mana on attack, they drain your HP on attack. Well, that is of course if they get to hit me. Okay, this one's having a real skill issue right now. So yeah, they're also kind of unbalanced right now because the damage is way too high for how common they are. So that's gonna be needing an adjustment. But yeah, there's an entire line of wraiths that instead of stealing your mana will be stealing your HP. Okay, so let's just destroy those guys. And yeah, I think, yeah, that's about it for the Stony Tomb. Let's go to the next place. And yeah, it's gonna be quicker to just save and quit. Let's just get too far on the way because yeah, I'm kind of low on health and don't need to. Also, let's see what kind of. Oh, of course. Don't need that as the assassin. Okay. Oh, so speaking about this amulet for a second, you may have noticed the 1-2 traps, which is, it's kind of normal for amulets, but it connects to what I want to say about the uniques I'm gonna add to this mod, and some set items and probably some rune words. I'll be focusing on the aspects of each of the characters, playable characters, that are usually kind of underutilized by the game. So like there's some unique items that are specifically for trap scenes, made for trap scenes. And if I recall, nope, neither of those are actually about this. They're the hell difficulty uniques, definitely. This one's just kind of, this one's just a reference to a different game. I'll be leaving it up to you to what game this is a reference to, especially the level 10 feigned item. And here, this one's just supposed to be like, I wanted to try out something like the blade being possessed and reanimating some monsters as ghosts, so like injecting the dead monsters with ghosts that possess this blade. And it's supposed to be the poison equivalent, I could say, for the uniques. Also, I'm gonna buff some of the uniques because how they currently are, most of them absolutely do not compare to the rune words that are present in the game. So yeah, let's just check those things. Also, many of those sprites will be changed. So yeah, the blade talons are actually kind of great looking in my opinion, but the greater claws kind of look bad. Okay, so yeah, this one's... We'll just go over the uniques for a second because you know why we're here. This one is supposed to be like a kind of golden claws that got a better chance of getting magic find. I should have probably also put more cash falling from the monsters on this one. It's also fire centered. It's, I think, early game, although I'm not too sure. And this one's definitely for trap scenes, as in like the Inferno trap and the other ones. Also, I don't know why I put burst of speed here. I have no idea. I do not remember at this point. The Mage Slayer was actually a really cool idea in my opinion, because I wanted to make a unique that's very much connected to the assassins as the concept in the game. So yeah, this one's the Mage Slayer. It's got magic damage on it. It's got mana steal. Yeah, I think you can read what I've added here. And I also added 3 sockets to it, so that you can customize it however you want. This one, I think, is the hell equivalent. Yeah, I think it's the hell equivalent of the Scissor Cutter. And yeah, it's supposed to be this kind of poison-oriented weapon. This one... Okay, this one is anti-undead, mostly. Yeah, it's anti-undead, and it's got an a bone spirit as a all skill, so yeah. And it's got Say Monsters Rest in Peace, so it will definitely be very useful. This one is of course the first unique for the assassin that can appear, so it will be, as you may notice, it's kind of weak. But I think it's a great unique for the start of the game. Also the name Guardbreaker and it reducing enemy defense is, I think, kind of fitting. So okay, this one I wanted to spawn ghouls when killing an enemy, but yeah, I didn't know how to do it, although I've managed to finish it with this one, so I'll be changing this one probably also. And yeah, level 3 lightning on once killing an enemy on 20% chance. I think I'm gonna change it because it's supposed to be an early game weapon, and yeah, it's slightly busted, although I don't know. Leave your opinion in the comments. And this one's the blood drainer, so yeah, as the name suggests, it's gonna still have life steal. It's also got open wounds and Cobra Strike, because of course Cobra Strike is, as you know, for stealing life and mana. This one is fun. I've had the idea that, you know, like there's gonna be a kind of silver themed weapon, and as you may know, silver in like overall just fantasy is supposed to be like anti-monsters and stuff like that. So this one's got increased damage to demons, and what else is there? Higher magic find, slightly less than the Gilded Shredder, but yeah, silver is also supposed to be a rich metal, I could say. So yeah, it's also gonna have this magic find and some magic resist, because yeah, more monsters in this mod will have some magic damage, so I have to compensate by making some magic resist items. And this one's the equivalent, I think, I do not exactly remember. It was, it's supposed to have ignoring, you can see, ignore the target's defense, some lower resist, stuff like this. It's supposed to be kind of a unique with very little text, but it's also kinda solid. So yeah, and yeah, all the other stuff. This thing is, it's supposed to be, I don't know, I think it's gonna be most likely for a barbarian. It's of course a pun, so yeah, and yeah, I'm changing the sprite, it looks garbage. Probably the same for the claws, but to be honest, on one hand I do not exactly like how those claws turned out, but on the other, you know, maybe I'll leave them. We'll see. Okay, so yeah, let's just get along with Act 2. So we weren't on the Dry Hills, and once we get to Dry Hills, you'll notice something interesting. So yeah, as you may see, there's this kind of Hollywood Mexico filter. I've added it because, you know, the Dry Hills are supposed to be dry, in my opinion. So yeah, I wanted to give this kind of feeling that like a sandstorm or something like this is present in here. Also, the Sand Raiders appear here because yeah, if there's supposed to be a sandstorm here, then the Sand Raiders fit perfectly in. So yeah, the Dune Beasts, we've seen those, those are just the usual. But the Spear Cats and the Saber Cats, and yeah, okay, overall the Panther Women had some slight changes, mostly in their colors. So yeah, this color that's right here for the Saber Cats and Spear Cats is the default color for Panther Woman that's unused normally in the game. So yeah. Also the other colors for those monsters are also changed. Yeah, let's just is there maybe anything interesting in here? Let's just see, maybe some new monster will spawn here. Yeah, we've seen the sandfishers, they're appearing here, and yeah, and I think that's the last place they'll be appearing in, because there were too many of them back in the early days of this mod, and I've had to change it. Significantly too many. Yeah, let's just teleport to the next place, because we don't have too many monsters right now here. So, Hells of the Dead, and they've also got this slight atmosphere changer by, you know, me changing the ambient colors, ambient light right here. So yeah, this one's supposed to be kind of like sand looking, could say. Okay, wonderful. The new monster I've added. New monster. Yeah, it's a new monster, but it uses the sprites for Radament, and those are supposed to be like the higher grade, you could say, greater mummies. That instead of having the warriors as their minions, have mages, and of course can resurrect them. So yeah, they're called, the first variant is called the Secreted Sorcerers, and they're using the, you could say, base Radament colors. Which, funnily enough, Radament isn't supposed to have those base colors, isn't supposed to use those base colors, and instead he's supposed to have like a purple color, but because normally he doesn't have a palette file, and also the random colors in the game are kind of broken, and the like last 7 or something along those lines, colors are completely unusable. And then he just uses the default colors for Radament. So yeah. Okay, we've got the phantoms once again, and yeah, they're a lot more irritating here. Well, irritating, I could say they're a lot more of a challenge here, because the Radament, you could say, can resurrect them. Yeah, let's just kinda destroy those guys, because they're a big problem. Oh yeah, also the greater mummies and those Radaments, you could say, are have some special abilities, because originally they were supposed to have a form of healing for their undead, and now I've changed it, because yeah, I thought that maybe I could try something a little bit more interesting. So the greater mummies possess a aura on them, and yeah, they're auraing their undead around themselves, and not only the undead actually. And the greater mummies, so the Radaments, you could say, are gonna have specific curses in their possession. Not like the Oblivion Knights, of course, so yeah, they won't be spamming random curses at you. But wait a second, are the refs are supposed to have an animation, so if they don't, I guess we've just found a bug. Okay, they've had an animation, so yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, that's, I think, yeah, that's the good curse. So yeah, the Radaments are gonna have, each variant of them will have a different curse at their disposal. So the last variant, I think, will have the, how was this one called? the blue one, the blue flame. I do not remember the name, unfortunately, right now, which is kind of stupid because I've played Necro a lot back in the day, so I should have remembered it. So yeah, those guys, I'm not gonna just talk about them constantly. So yeah, they're here, they're working, and yeah, that's it for them. They'll be appearing more. We'll see them a lot more later on, even in different acts. So strap in for that. So yeah, let's. Yeah, I'm definitely not leaving those guys here. Those are the next in line. Oh yeah, I did not mention about. I did not talk about those guys yet. So there's a line of skeleton mages that's supposed to be based around the Horsemen of Apocalypse. So there's like, yeah, this one's war, because originally in the game, you know, while fighting Bale, there's those death mages as minions of the second wave of bosses spawned by Bale. Yeah, the second wave. So I've decided that well, if there's a death mage, then there can be the other horsemen. So there's like this one's actually a unique. This one's the war mage, which always spawns with the full heavy set. So yeah, the heavy graphics for its for the skeleton. So like heavy helmet, heavy armor, stuff like this. And as you may notice, he uses the fire attack of the guest salamanders. So yeah, I'm definitely changing where he spawns. He's not supposed to spawn here. I think it's a placeholder up until now. So yeah, I'm getting rid of them from here. They do not fit here at all. They're supposed to spawn in Act 4 first. So yeah. Yeah, these guys are just the usual. Let's just go further. I'll be skipping to the next place. Also, on the lesser difficulties, it won't be as crazy as right now. Yeah, I'm not getting out of this one. I wanted to show a bit, but we'll get to see other places like this. That at the last like layer of this of the Halls of the Dead, I've changed the colors to be more like bright blue, something like this, because yeah, there's the treasure at the end. Okay, let's go to the Far Oasis. And the Far Oasis, okay, I'm either leaving this kind of green color or I'm gonna change it to like a bright blue, because you know, an oasis kind of just feels like it's supposed to be a bright place, a bright living place. Those are the black raptors with changed graphics, which yeah, I have to adjust this slightly, because you know, while we're here I can explain what's happening while they're flying and have some transparency on them. You see, Diablo 2 uses the black color on monsters as transparency, and yeah, this is a very specific form of black. So whenever you're like, this is like the most blackest is used as a transparency for monsters. So whenever you're making a new monster and something like this, always remember to, at the end of adjusting him, and if he's very dark, slightly beat up the color, the brightness of his sprite, because otherwise you'll get a mistake like me right here, and this with this funky looking guy who's kind of, you know, has this temporal feel where he just disappears slightly. Okay, also yeah, you might have noticed that he's immune to poison, because yeah, those guys will, different variants of them will have some different immunities. Yeah, okay, yeah, this is the last place where the Sandfishers definitely spawn for the last time. Okay, those guys, yeah, we've seen those. Maybe we'll get to see something new alongside here. Also, yeah, I'm definitely gonna change this color, because it looks like I'm poisoned constantly, and yeah, it looks dumb. Yeah, the nest is the nest. Nothing new here. Let's go to the Maggot Lair, which is arguably among the worst places in Diablo 2, because it's so irritating. Okay. These scarabs, as you may see, have more original colors. They have like this blue and green color. Green, yeah, that's definitely green. Blue and gold colors, because I just felt like the scarabs are supposed to be like those royal kind of beetles, you could say, you know, in Egypt and stuff like this. And yeah, I wanted to give them those like more royal colors. So yeah. All the other variants will also have their colors changed. They already have their colors changed. So yeah, let's just go to the next layer. The dev beetle also has his colors changed, and yeah, kind of got lost with my weapons right here. Yeah, let's just go. The sandfishes of course appear in the maggot layer because, you know, it's the warm place. So I know that spiders aren't worms, but you know, like, they're the closest thing to worms, so they can be here. The rock worms and their variants also have different colors, because I wanted to differentiate the rock worm from the blood maggot from Act 4, and the rockworm's colors are actually a reference to pillbacks, because, you know, I don't know if you know about this, but pillbacks actually have blue blood, slightly light blue blood, because their blood contains copper instead of iron, if I remember correctly, although, you know, I'm not a biologist, so I may be completely wrong on that. So yeah. Just also, back in the earlier versions of this mod, there were maggot twins present here, but they, first things first, they were bugged and always spawned as some funky uniques. Second thing, they were absolutely making this place 10 times worse, because they were just blocking the way. So I'm not getting them back here, probably. Or I'm gonna make those tunnels wider, I don't know. Yeah, new level, new color, you could say. I've tried still keeping like this those fitting colors, so this one's kind of bluish, so like, I don't know, say that the tunnels feel cold. Yeah, let's just get to the last place here, and do not worry, I'm gonna warp out of here immediately after I'm gonna show the last level of this, because I do not plan to waste your time on going through the maggot layer the other way. So yeah. Just I love whenever those beetles just kind of stand in your way. This place is like the perfect place for the blade sentinel. It's perfect. Okay, so the maggot layer 3 is red, because red feels like the, you know, final level. It's getting hot. Yeah, you know. Okay. Not hot as in, you know, but more so as in like, yeah, it's the last level. It's everything is at stakes, although, you know, there's nothing at stakes because it's just stupid tunnels filled with worms, so it's more so just, yeah. The world is getting red because you're so angry for sitting in this place, because, you know, there's a quest at the end of this place. Yeah, I'm definitely keeping this color right here. Just maybe, yes, we'll get to see them. So the Devourers are here at the last level, because yeah, they only spawned in the Canyon of the Magi and you didn't really get to see them, so now you'll get to see them at least in a single place more. Yeah, that's all I wanted to show here. So, of course, wrong side. Perfect.